lot of series I cover on the channel is thanks to recommendations from you guys. You guys are always saying, Chibi, you should read this series. Hey, Chibi, you should read this X series. And a lot of series that I've talked about on the channel where I really love to read on a weekly basis is thanks to your guys' recommendations. One that comes instantly to mind that you can see on screen is The Greatest Estate Developer, which, by the way, if you've never read this series, 100% stop what you're doing and read the series. It's fantastic. But another series, thanks to recommendations many, many years ago, was Omniscient Reader or Teenage Mercenary, to even stuff like Villain to Kill or Jungle Juice, Hardcore Leveling Warrior. I've discovered a lot of good series and stories thanks to your guys' recommendations. And one series entered into my recommendations in the comment section on YouTube that kind of piqued my interest just by title alone. And I gotta go to the horror category, and the series I'm going to be talking about today is Don't Enter the House Pool. The reason why I instantly wanted to read this series when I saw the recommendation was not just because of the title, but because of the actual cover art. Like, look at the cover art real quick. I absolutely love Lovecraftian, like, eldritch, like, sea creature horror type stories. I love that type of stuff. It's something I really like because I feel like there's nothing more terrifying than like the darkness of the ocean or what's the unknown or entities from the dark or whatever like that. I really love those type of stories and titles. You know, it's something I've always gravitated towards if I'm trying to get into some form of horror-like story. And so when I saw Don't Enter the House Pool, and then I saw the cover, I was like, okay, I want to take the recommendation that was sent in to me by you guys, and I want to read this for myself. And I sat down, I read it, and I was like, okay, I like where this is going. And so, let me get some context here on what this is about and if it is worth your time. So first off, Don't Enter the House Pool is quite a title. It pretty much is the very premise of what it's about, but it doesn't really give you the whole story or summary of what to expect. So first off, Don't Enter the House Pool is relatively short right now at the moment. There is only 7 chapters right now. It is something that just began back in October, as you can see. So it's been ongoing for about a month now, like less than a month at this point. The chapters have been coming out, and it's got quite a few chapters already just within a month. So it's very consistent. The writer and creator is really pumping out these chapters and really trying to get content out and expand upon the story. But I've obviously neglecting to talk about what it exactly is, so let's get into that. So the opening of chapter 1 of Don't Enter the House Pool has our main character being dragged into a house pool. They're dragged into some form of like squid, octopus-like creature into the unknown depths, and the opening sequence here, which I'm going to scroll up, is this mysterious angelic-like statue that, is there, and you can see, the person screaming at them, like, please, don't do this, help, and all that, help, I'm not ready, they say, and they're dragged underneath, and it's very scary looking because obviously it's like, okay, is this like Cthulhu? Is this like Eldritch Gods? What's going on here? And so the opening gets your interest. You're like, okay, so what is this? Like, what's going on here? And as you continue through the story, you come to find out that this entire place is within like a magic school. Think of like a demented Hogwarts. That's kind of what you kind of can view this as, but the difference here is that it's a school that is against blood magic, and it only teaches witches. And that's where things get very interesting, because our main character is actually a dude, and they're enrolled in the school that is just for women, just for witches, people to be taught magic. And so you can already see where the story is kind of going. You have an individual that cannot learn magic, is magicless, and a school surrounded by witches. And the entire concept early on within the story, from what I read, is this character trying to find a place to belong, trying to find a place where they fit in, because obviously they're getting older and older, time is going on, and as they see their peers and fellow students being able to perform magic, they're not able to perform anything, because within this world, what is straight up told to you is that only women can use magic. Only women are capable of becoming witches. And in this story, apparently there's different types of witches. You can have witches that can be like blood magic users, which is taboo within the story, very obviously, it makes sense. Then you have witches that are able to just manipulate the soul, and those that are psychics that are able to commune with the dead. That's at the very least the different type of witches that we have encountered thus far in these early chapters. course. But the point is that this school, on the surface level, it is trying to teach witches to go down a path of good and not use blood magic, so to speak. However, thanks to different things that happen within this story, it's very obvious that there's a lot more going on within the school than meets the eye. First off, this is the house pool. The main rule of this school is do not enter this house pool. Only the headmistress can enter into this area, but it's very clear with whatever's going on with this house pool, it is affiliated with blood to some degree. So the very taboo of don't use blood magic is probably being broken with this, and what these different witches within this school is worshipping is most likely some form of eldritch god of some degree, something from the depths and the dark and the abyss, and they're completely unaware of it. And it makes me very curious on how this is going to go, because it's a cult-like setting, and you don't know necessarily what would happen to these individual witches if they truly were to find out the actual truth of what's going on there. But then a lot more things get complicated, because the main character is a dude that can't use magic, but the head mistress allows the dude to actually stay within the school. And you're like, okay, why? Is he going to be some form of sacrifice to this entity? Is he actually, destined for greatness to actually use magic? There's a lot of things you have to wonder. But the point of the matter is that there is a lot of mystery, a lot of creepiness, and the very tone of this, house pool here, by the way, looks so much to me like the back rooms, just like the pool levels of the back rooms. That's what it looks like. And when I think of the back rooms, or I think of Lovecraft or Eldritch horror, you got a good tone and vibe going on here. But obviously, with what I just expressed, there's a lot more than just that. So let's segue into the characters of the story. So first off, our main male character, throughout their journey in life, early on in chapter 3, you see they're being viciously bullied. They're being bullied by their peers, fellow witches, because obviously he's different. He is, a dude, he's not a woman, he can't use magic, and basically they're all like, why are you even here? You're magicless, there can be someone that can take your spot, a witch that actually deserves it, why you're here. And these group of kids pretty much just do what they typically do, like what kids would do at this age, and they bully the others that are a little bit different. They bully him, they toss him into the water out in the front yard, and as he's basically drowning, you see these jellyfish start to glow. They're like, what's going on here? And they say he's magicless, he can't do anything. But as he's in the process of drowning, you see an eel, I believe this is an eel, come up and actually help him out, push him up to survive. Now, you're probably wondering about the attire of the character. Well, the very school, it's kind of like they're dressed like nuns. That's kind of what they are. They're dressed up like cult-like nun attire. That's at least what I get here. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong with the design of the characters. But it's very clear that they're trying to make him fit in when it's clear he doesn't fit in. And I don't know. I like the premise of the story. There's some cool stuff going on here. It has the backbone of something that could develop into a really jarring and creepy story. I mean, once again, look at the cover art of this. I'm backing out here. Let's go to the actual cover art of this. It looks very sinister, and this is clearly the main character, the same eye design and hair color, and I'm going to take an educated guess that the main character might become some form of vessel and controlled by an eldritch entity to do its bidding or something, just judging by the way the cover actually looks. But it's a very creepy series, I'm not going to lie, and if you're someone that wants to read something like that, I highly recommend it. Link in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. But this is a series that was recommended to me by a few individuals in my comment section. I was like, okay, I'll check it out, and I'm going to be honest, I like what I have read, and I thank those that have recommended me to read Don't Enter the House Pool. Now, there's a few other series that are on my list to read, which, I'm just going to point out right here. One in particular that I really am looking forward to reading, I'll probably even make a video on it tomorrow, is Childhood Friend Complex. This is a series that people were telling me to read, and I love romance stories. I think everybody knows that at this point. I'm a big sucker for it, and seeing that apparently it's in the top 10, and it's even above Unordinary and Remarried Empress and Love for Walk and all that, and it's competing with Tears on a Withered Flower, I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be a good read. I mean, hell, it's doing pretty well, actually. 2.5 million likes on it. It's actually more liked than Tears on a Withered Flower, which is pretty wild. So I think it speaks for itself, but there's definitely an audience for this one. So I'm definitely going to read this one probably today and upload a video of it tomorrow. So look forward to that one. But I will leave it at that. thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in reading this series here that I talked about, because I didn't want to spoil everything, I want to keep some things mysterious for you guys, because there is 7 chapters, and, you know, you can sit down and read them in probably 30 to 40 minutes. Read it, tell me your thoughts in the comments below how you felt about it, but link is in the description for if you want to read it. But be safe, stay healthy, I love you guys, Chibi out.